G'day, and welcome back to a new hobby high, Ultramarines from Scratch, which is a series of videos which details my exploration, my learning of this, Horus Heresy Citadel Games Workshop miniatures from the literal day when I first picked up a box set ever to learning on how to play it and continuing on and growing my army and all this sort of bollocks. I'm still learning this whole thing, and it has been a hell of a ride so far. I think it was the 13th of November, I picked up the first box set, and I have been freaking blitzing on this since. My other hobbies have fallen by the wayside, and all I'm doing now is just painting little blue soldiers, putting them on the table, rolling dice against valiant and freaking cursed enemies, and either winning or losing games. I got to admit, the winning or losing games I don't give a flying fuck about, but I do enjoy the people, the personalities, and this hobby as a new hobby to me. So that's the gist of what this channel is about. Most of you who watch this know. That's just a recap for people who don't. Now, I recently I've been sitting there. I've had no painting this week. So I'm literally just right now finishing off these heavy weapons bolted teams, and yeah, they're coming along all right. Helps if my freaking brush does what it's bloody told, but yeah, a lot of cleaning up here. Fuck it. Fuck. Look, you know what? I can't talk and paint at the same time. It's just not. I'm not a multitasker, so I'm going to put this down and just go through what's happened this week. So I had a game on last Thursday back at Beyond Odyssey, and I played White Scars, and I got an absolute fucking spanking. It was a 3,000 point game. I've got a little video here of it. And it was atrocious by my accounts. I ended up having 9 men on the table at the end of turn 5, and there was no hope of me even coming close to a victory. Because, like an idiot, and this has caught me out before, and I still haven't fucking learned my lesson. Find out what the other army can do before you fucking fight it, you silly bugger. There's the lesson. Right? In this case, it was the White Scar's ability to have a movement reaction, a specialised movement reaction, where they can freaking come all the way down and do all their shooting, and then in your movement, when you're keying up everything, lining everything up, ready to shoot it, blowing, shoot that, they go, I got to do the White Scar's reaction, and they move everything all the way back across the table and leave you nothing to shoot at. And that means the next time they come all the way back and they blow the living fuck out of you again. So yeah. White Scars, very difficult to take down, especially when they were run by such a competent player who took out, in like one turn, 3 Formantaris, my entire heavy weapons, and then left my very slow and untransported Terminators and Breaches and everything else, just chasing them up the board like a paraplegic chasing Usain Bolt. No hope in hell. I made a few mistakes. I didn't. There was a few rules that I broke, but I didn't realise it. It wasn't in bad form. It was just ignorance. But yeah, have a quick look at this and tell me what you think. And I'll get back to some of the things I learned, and I'll show you what I'm up to now. Have a quick look. If I fucking... Is it stopped? Jeez, fuck's sake. Okay, here we go. Ultramarine versus White Scars. And look how fucking beautifully this army is painted. It is spectacular. Fucking spectacular to look at. We had 5 Sicaran variants. We had they were like snipers with the Nemesis bolt weapons. They had 5 units of jet bikes. 1 was close combat, 1 with plasma, and 1 with multi-milders, and a space wizard and an old style speeder. He set up first, so I set up second, and I thought I was clever dickies, and I was going to counter with my anti-tank Terminators, rotor cannons in a Rhino, breaches in the centre to defend, and tactical squads, Fulmentaris and heavies in the tower, with the Armistos and the Primus Medicae as a fucking warlord. And boy, oh boy, did I underestimate how fast the White Scars were, how fast they could move, the range of their weapons, and then their special ability in the movement phase. There's a movement reaction, which was basically do the same again, dart all the way back. But yeah, look at that beautiful table. All right, end of the first turn, and I'd lost a bucket load. They'd come out of the tank. I'd lost an entire unit of 20 here to this close combat unit of jet bike dudes. Armistos went up on the hill to shoot things, but they moved away. The entire unit of heavy weapons destroyed. About 3 or 4 Mentaurus, and they didn't take a single wound, luckily. All I managed to do is wipe out a small unit of plasmas, a couple of blokes on the top of the hill, and immobilise a Arcus, I think it is. Yeah, and a couple of jet bikes. I don't even know how I got rid of them. Oh, I think the plasmas blew up. Maybe I didn't get rid of them, but that's what I lost, as you can see, fucking heaps. That first round was devastating. Just the speed of those buggers. But geez, it looks the piece, doesn't it? Fuck, it looks nice. Next turn, it didn't get much better for me. I did wipe out the Space Wizard on the bike, and I did wipe out the Sikaran with the laser gun, and destroyed one tank. But everything else was pretty much getting wiped out to a man. They'd retreated from the advance of the Terminators there, but my breaches couldn't catch anything. My Moritat had nothing in range. It was tragic. But yeah, at least I started killing tanks. But yeah, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Fuck, look, I loved that. I'm going to duplicate that. It's a flickering light, a plastic battery candle in some cotton wool for smoke. This is turn 4, and everything freaking piled in on what was left. Yeah, so Fulmentaris just about dead to a man, but still holding in there. Sniper squad up the top. The tanks were about to get charged by these Terminators. Those breaches were just waddling up the board. Fuck, I couldn't think of any other way of describing them. They were waddling up the board. They couldn't run. They could because they're heavy. They couldn't reach anything, and they just kept pulling back and shooting, pulling back and shooting, pulling back and shooting. And me being a silly bugger, forgot that they had 2 wounds. So they were getting atrophied at an amazing fucking rate. Let's see. But it was at no point was this turning in my direction. It was just a slaughter. Last turn, the Terminators got up there and literally just ripped apart those 2 Sikarans with their power fists. I have not seen that. There were so many, and they had penetrating hits to spare. The plasma guns, they'd wiped out most of my breaches. I'd lost the Fulmentaris. I had 9 models on the table, and you could see which way the tide was going. It was a red tide, and it was coming right for me, and I was fucked. Right, so as you can see, I got a right fucking spanking in that game. Now, some of the things I learnt in that game. Okay, remember a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, I painted up the Armistos with a missile launcher, thinking, beauty, he's got a Cognos Signum, he's going to be an absolute gun, he's got a missile launcher, he'll shoot that on +2, and then he'll use his Cognos Signum, and everyone else will get a +1 ballistic skill. Well, fucking what I learned in that game is that your bloody Cognos Signum, you can use your Cognos Signum, or you can fire a weapon. It's not has the Cognos Signum going and then fire the weapon. It's one or the other. So, you know, you give him a missile launcher, and he can't use it because you want to use the Cognos Signum to give him all the assets, all the good stuff to give to the squad. So you can't really use him. Well, at least not like that. I have to figure out another way. Maybe have him roving about. I don't really quite know just yet, but freaking yeah, I'm really well, not disappointed because it's the rules. The rules are written for a reason. But yeah, I don't really know how I'm going to get about to use him. The second one was to use your movement, to use a reaction in the movement phase. You can't use a reaction to move to and from to sort of slingshot your dudes towards a target you want to get to. That's a big no-no. I didn't know that at the time because, well, ignorance, didn't know it. I was using it to move sort of towards the move away because I had these jet bikes that come up from behind me. Oh, okay, so they're fleeing the jet bikes. I get an extra 4 inches of movement that way so I can get close to the target that I want to crump. And yeah, you can do that, but it's got to move directly away from the threat. Luckily, jet bikes are a big enough threat and the bases are large enough, so pretty much any direction is directly away. But yeah, didn't know that one. Also, learnt that, what is it? When you come to doing a fight, any fight, learn your own bloody stat lines. I lost half of my bloody Pectorian breaches because I just assumed they were like, breaches but with special swords. I didn't realise they had 2 wounds. I freaking got atrophied to buggery because I was a freaking idiot who was just assuming way too much. So yeah, it wasn't an ideal game rules wise and learning, but I did learn a lot, and yeah, it was a great game. The bloke who played me was an old school Horus Heresy version 1 player. So yeah, he was dude knew his shit. So yeah, that was my big game for the week, and yeah, it was great. I loved it. But like I said, didn't get much painting done. These are the you see, I've just bloody given them their black ink wash. These are the little targeter fellas for those quad launchers. Wasn't able to bring the quad launchers with me to do it on this trip, so I'm just doing these. So they've just had their ink, and then I'll pick up the details and shine them up, and they'll end up looking like these. But let me show you something that I am a little bit proud of. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, now check this out. These, get everything out of the fucking way so you can bloody look at it. These, I don't want to put those on the desk, are my mk6 breeches. So I got the breeches, a couple of breeches sets. See if I can focus in on these here. Come on, do it. Do it. Do it. Focus. Alright, that's about the best as I'm going to get you. So they've got the shields. They've got the arm off the Mark III. I had to carve some little bits off. That's the arm from the Mark VI. That's the gun from the Mark VI. But in each and every one of them, I've had to carve off the hand on each of the barrels. Now I did the same with all the normal tactical squads where I had Mark IIIs. So I made sure all of the pistols, the bolt rifles, looked the same. I've also had them all lined up so they all go through the shield. But you have to put green stuff in here, putty up the hand. Otherwise you get these huge gaps. And yeah, it's coming up all right. Jesus, I would really like... I really have to invest in a camera because this is fucked. Not just for me, but for you, for viewers. This is fucked. So yeah, I used some extra bits and bobs that I had laying around. Extra shoulder pads. The head from I've got a couple of heads from the Ultramarines, upgrade set. A couple of shoulders from the Ultramarines upgrade set. But each of the bolters have been. I've carved these off, and then I had to go over them with plastic glue to smooth them down. The same thing with the lines here on the legs. So scrape them off, and then go over them with glue, just a light brush, and that'll get rid of the that raised carving mark. Comes up all right. So I got 10 in total. Running the 1 man in 5 running the gravity gun. I really would like that to focus, and I don't really know how to make the camera do its job. So this one's got the Imperial Fist's head. God, he looks tank though. Look at that. That's got, I don't know if you know, like there's 5 of these, 5 poses in a 20-man set of new Mark 6s. But I call this one the JoJo pose because he's got a bit of sass to it. He's freaking walking with his hips, freaking 1 foot behind the other, Jojo, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, or whatever the fucking song goes. Anyway, it's full of fucking sass. I've got 2 Mark IIIs in here, in this lot. They fitted together very well. Unfortunately, the dick plate on this one broke off, so I had to use the Ultramarine upgrade tassels. So he's now got, instead of dick plate, he's got dick tassels. He's also had the a 1 mil around the waist to give him the extra height, and a spacer put in his neck, so he's the same height as a normal Mark 6, maybe a little taller. Yeah, they're looking all right. They're looking all right. So this is my first 10 out of 20 I'm building Mark 6 Breacher Squad. So this has got everything in it. It's got a Nuncio Vox, it's got the Vexilla, it's got the augury scanner, it's got 2 graviton guns, Sergeant, and yeah, I've lined them all up so they actually can from what I always did with the Praetorians, they look great when I had 3 of them that could sit forward and you could see a fucking look like a shield wall. So I've posed all these up so they all look like they can shield wall, and I reckon that looks marvellous. Now imagine that, but duplicated. So you got 5, 10, 15, 20, all staggered slightly backwards with their shields. I reckon that's going to look great. One thing I'm going to do with this one, though, is I'm going to do a painting tutorial. Not painting tutorial. You all fucking know how to paint. I'm going to use these as an example of how I paint my lads currently. So I'll do one, and then I'll do all 10. And I'll, you know, one step, I'll do all 10. One step, do all 10. One step, do all 10, until they're all done. It might take a while, but it's actually going to be done with these ones. The only thing is I'm not going to show you how to build, prime, and undercoat them, because any bug can fucking do that. But nonetheless, that's what I'm doing. I've got the new Mark 6s. I haven't got the big quad mortars here. I would like to have these heavy weapons finished today. I've just broke off the Nuncio Vox. Fucking yay. But like an idiot, I didn't bring white. So fuck it. I'll just get everything done, and I'll polish it off when I get back home. Anyway, that's all from me. Love a lot of yous. You take care of yourselves. Keep on gaming. Give your missus a kiss, and keep hobbying. I mean, fuck, it's a good hobby. Keep at it, lads. Cheerio.